What up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Dre Bee Rambo, here on the Dre Bee Rambo Show. Thank you for tuning in. If you're tuning in, things are a little different today, obviously. I decided to go live on Friday nights and have a little fun with the group. So what I'm basically going to be doing every Friday night is opening it up for a live show where I will be taking phone calls from the viewers, where I will be putting up the phone number on the screen like so. You see that there? Pretty cool, right? All right, so reason I'm doing this is because I thought to myself, I saw a show. There's a guy I like to watch. His name is Bedros Keuilian, the Bedros Keuilian Show. And he was basically talking a bunch of shit about people who just interview people and get all the content from the people that they're interviewing, and then going out there and getting their subscribers, like going out there and like tapping into that person's network. And I thought to myself, holy shit, man, this guy's talking about me right now. Right now he's talking about Dre Bee Rambo. So I thought to myself, you know what? I could do what this guy's doing. He's talking into a camera. He's telling a story. He's talking about, you know, how to man up and be a G. And I like that kind of stuff personally because, you know, I just feel like, you know, it's good for society. There's a lot of fatherless boys out there who don't have somebody in their life to tell them how to be a man and how to conduct yourself out in society. We've got a lot of knuckleheads out there. I think we could all agree with that. And so he was basically talking about how he's building his show and that he doesn't talk to anybody but the screen. And I thought to myself, I can do that. I could do both. I could have Monday, Wednesday nights where I have my guests come on. I like to have different types of athletes come on my show. I do tend to have a lot of MMA or jiu-jitsu people who will come on my show. I haven't got a female yet. I'm trying really hard, guys, to get a female, get some female representation up on the Dre Bee Rambo show so that people don't think I'm a misogynist pig, because I'm only that on certain days of the week. And so I would like to get a female on the show. Don't have one yet, but we'll get one. I promise you that. But I don't want to just stay or gravitate towards only jiu-jitsu practitioners and MMA fighters. I'm interested in all kinds of athletes. I've been looking at some bodybuilder athletes, people who do the whole chisel thing. You know, they get in front of a crowd and they show off their chiseled muscles. Some of the ones that I've hit up have been both male and female, who are very thin, actually. You know, a lot of times we think of a bodybuilder as just like a big Arnold Schwarzenegger, Incredible Hulk type looking dude or woman. But actually, I discovered that there's also some very thin, chiseled ones. And I discovered this over at the UFC gym because we got a guy down there. I haven't asked him to come on the show, but he's real chiseled. I think his name's Andrew or something like that. Andrew, if you're watching, come on the show. Show us what it is that you do. And so I want to have a lot of athletes. Why? Because athletes, I admire athletes. I think that athletes have something about them that a lot of people that are sitting on the couch or you know, are going through life and not knowing how to improve their lives, or maybe they're struggling in some kind of a way where they can't control the food they eat. That's me. I have a problem with the food I eat. I eat a lot of food, a lot of crap. Ask my wife. She'll verify that I'm a fat piece of shit. Let me tell you. But there's a lot of people out there who struggle with certain, like, discipline, you know, keeping themselves in check. And I find that certain types of athletes, those that make it to the top, the very top of their space, whether it be jiu-jitsu or MMA fighting or boxing or kickboxing or weightlifting, powerlifting, all that kind of stuff, soccer, whatever it is, have something about them. They've been able to hone in on their discipline and they have something to share. That's why I call those people, because I know they got something to share. They are going through they have things going on in their lives just like everybody else, and they are managing it well. So someone like me, for example, I don't manage anything well, to be quite honest with you guys. I still have problems with my diet. I still have problems with getting to the gym every day. I still have problems in my marriage. I still got problems with how I raise my kids. And I don't have it all together. I admit it. I know people look at me and they're thinking like, man, there's a guy who's got it all together. Come rain or shine, he's there on his podcast doing his thing. You guys probably think I go to work every day like everybody else. You'd be sadly mistaken. And, just think I got it all together. But the truth of the matter is I don't. But I like talking to people who do. And you guys are out there. And I want to talk to you guys and see what's up with you guys. So I make my rounds. I basically go through Instagram and the Facebook. And I look at people's profiles and I think to myself, okay, here's a guy here's a girl who looks like they got it together. Let me send them a message. Let's see if they want to come on the Dre Bee Rambo show. I know this show can be intimidating. It's a brand new show. It's so brand new that we actually got ourselves, people probably don't know this, but we got ourselves to over 100 subscribers, guys. Over 100 subscribers to the Dre Bee Rambo show. Dude, that is killer. I am so excited about that. And so let me take this time to thank all of you who have subscribed to the show, who are tuning in and listening into the Dre Bee Rambo show, checking out my guests and commenting and giving a like and taking the time out of their life to come along on this journey with me. I want you to know that I love you guys. I love you more than my own children. Just kidding. But I do love you guys and I appreciate you. And I'm thankful that you guys are tuning in and enjoying the content. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. There's a couple of you guys out there who are smashing that dislike button. And you know what? That's okay. As long as you're tuning in, I'm cool with that. So that being said, we're over 100. And no, I'm not going to lie. I've been looking at the thing like, man, I hope it doesn't drop under 100 again. Because, believe it or not, there's people who unsubscribe. That's a real thing. And I don't know why it happens. It just happens. It's one of those things. I realize and I accept that it's just part of the game. It's all part of the game. So it is what it is. Now, moving on. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about what I've learned from my guests that I've had on the show over the last few weeks and give my perspective on, what's been transpiring with this show. Because this is a new show, and believe it or not, it would not exist if my guests weren't willing to come on to the show. I suppose I'd be doing it anyway, just by myself, but no one wants to just see me every day. That's why we're only going to do this on Fridays. But the cool thing that I've learned from doing this show and having my guests come on and things like that, it has given me a sense of pride. I feel very proud of the show. I like what it's doing and how it's starting to take shape and what it's starting to mean to people, if anything. I like the editing. I mean, believe it or not, this is a one-man show. I know it seems like there's tons of people behind me here, but there isn't. It's just me. So when I'm doing the interviews, I'm the one controlling the camera, making sure that it's on the person talking when they're talking. I have to control this whole mixer board here and, make sure that the sound levels are good. And I got to make sure 2 different areas. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, guys. I'm also the one who has to reach out to people and say, hey, do you want to come on the Dre Bee Rambo show and be my guest? And believe it or not, some people say yes. Thank God for that. And some people say no. Some people ghost me. So that's one of the things I had to learn that took me years to learn. I mean, it really took me years, guys. It took me years to learn to be comfortable with people telling me no. People, just either ignoring me, ghosting me, not showing up, whatever it is. There was a time when I was just like, man, I'm just don't have the confidence to deal with all that rejection. And the reality is rejection is all part of the game. It's all part. If you've ever been out there and you're like, I want to have my own show, or I want to start, creating content in any kind of way, the reality is that you're gonna have to learn to deal with rejection. You're gonna have to learn with looking stupid or making mistakes. I mean, look at me. I'm going live right now, and I don't know who's watching at all because the YouTube page is not on my computer screen. I probably could put it there, but I didn't want to know who's watching, to be honest with you, because it is nerve-wracking to be on a camera. This is the first live show, so I've given myself a pass with how I sound and how I do, how I look, how the show looks, if the camera angles are right or not. This one here is probably a little too high, and it's a weird angle. This one over here, I like this one a lot better, but it's got a bunch of, I probably could have moved that microphone, probably would have looked up better. There's a lot going on the screen, as you can see there. So it's a lot of stuff. The worst thing would be is if none of the microphones were working. But anyway, stay tuned, because in about 20 minutes, I'm going to open up the phone lines. I'm going to go live, and you'll be able to call into the show. God willing, nothing's messed up, because there's already mistakes. You'll see on my phone here, I wanted to upload a Instagram story where I was going to be able to tell people that they could come on the show. I wonder if I could just do that right now. I just go live. Let's see if I can do that. Actually, go live. And then turn it around. And then there I am. 3, 2, 1. So in about a second here, you're now live. Good, I'm live. So we're live on the show. I don't have anything to hold the camera, so I'm just going to hold this phone for a little bit. But what I was telling people is that we're going live. We are now live on YouTube. You can jump on over on the Dre Bee Rambo show, and you can watch. And the cool part about it is that you'll be able to call into the show live. You'll be able to talk to me, Dre Bee Rambo, live from your phone, and you'll be able to call in. You're not going to be able to watch it on your, there's a slight delay. There's about a 10-second delay. So when you call into the show, if anybody calls into the show, you will not be able to talk to me through your computer screen. You're going to have to talk to me on the phone, like in the old days before all this technology stuff. So probably would have been a good idea to have a, something here to hold the phone. I got all this equipment, and I didn't even bother to, I probably don't need this right now, so I guess I could just put that right there. There you go. We're live, and my computer is holding it up. Okay, so we're going to open up the phone lines in about 15, 16 minutes. I'm just going to go on my rant for a little while. Now, what am I opening up the lines for? I'm opening up the lines so that I can interact with my viewers, people who tune into the Dre Bee Rambo show. You'll be able to ask me questions, make comments, give shout outs to your friends. Hopefully you guys keep the swearing to a minimum. You guys could tell me off. You guys could tell me my show sucks and I never want to see you on YouTube again. I've prepared for that. I'm totally ready. If you guys want to, if that's what you're feeling, if that's how you feel, you want to call me a fat piece of shit, that's okay. Because it is what it is, right? So we're going to open up in a few minutes. So what I've learned from my guests that I've had on over the last few weeks, it's been an amazing ride. I've had some amazing guests. If you didn't check out the videos, there's always time to do that later and check out the videos, because I've got some really amazing, I had some really amazing guests on the show. We had the Meerkat, Rio. He was on the show. A very inspiring up-and-coming fighter who had an amazing story about his journey of fighting and his family and getting into his last fight. We talked about that some bit. I know that Rio Caderos, he's going to be an amazing fighter. He's going to go do big things, and I'm looking very forward to seeing what happens with that guy. He doesn't have a fight coming up yet, but I did have a chance to talk to him the other day where he tells me he's looking around July area. So I'm really looking forward to maybe to getting him back on the show, because I got a lot of positive feedback about him. I think a lot of people liked him. So I'm looking forward to getting Rio back on the show, and hopefully he's training right now. Who else would we have? We had Richard Arriola, 4-time IBJJF world champion, on the show. An amazing guy. Funny thing, when I first reached out to him to come onto the show, he looked really scary on his Instagram. And I wasn't going to message him because I was like, man, I don't want this guy to beat me up and rob me, because he looks like a scary guy. He's got all those championships under his belt. But I say, screw it. I bring him down here. Amazing guy. Super nice. Super cool. Inspiring story. He just had so many good stories about his wrestling and his triumphant return after getting injured in a car accident, his wrestling career, his and then getting into jiu-jitsu and starting his own school, Hybrid Academy. I believe it's in Orange, California. I hope I didn't get that wrong. If I did, I'm sorry, Rick. And he just had some amazing stories, and he talked a lot about his mentors, which I think mentorship is super important. If you don't have a mentor in life, you're at a disadvantage. And I am certainly at a disadvantage because I don't have a single mentor. But I've been aware of the fact that a man should have a mentor, or a woman, whatever, you guys, you know what I'm saying. But people should have mentors, because there's people who are the trailblazers. They've done it before you. They've been there already. They know what you're going through. Obviously you want to find a mentor who's in your lane, who you guys are doing the same type of deal, that someone who can help you up your game, to help you be better, a better human being, a better at whatever your sport is or your career is. If you're a real estate person, obviously you want to work under a mentor, a realtor who has already been there, maybe a broker who's already been through the whole thing and knows how to help you. So you can cut the learning curve in half. I mean, it just makes so much sense, right? Excuse me. Also, we had on the show Art Dijon. Art Dijon from the Jiu-Jitsu Training Institute over in La Mirada, I think it is. If it's not La Mirada, it's La Habra. I'm pretty sure it's La Mirada. Anyway, he had some very interesting things to say too. He was talking about how, why not me? Why not me? He's talking about opening up a school, and he thought to himself, why not me? Because a lot of times we get in our minds and we start to think, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not the right guy for the job. But with his mentality it was like, why not me, man? I could do it. And a lot of people buy into the lie. A lot of people buy into that lie that they can't do something. I was certainly that guy. I was definitely that guy where I thought that, when I went to junior college at 20, maybe 22, I had, dropped out of high school. I just started using drugs and drinking alcohol. I was a waster. I was just out there chasing tail. I wasn't doing anything of value. I wasn't bringing any value to the community or to society at all. I would have been better off without me, to be honest with you. But by the grace of God, it kept me in the game. I decided to go to school at 22 years old to Rio Hondo College out in Whittier, California, where I live. And I remember looking around, and I would see all the girls and guys there, and I was like, man, these are teeny boppers. These are little kids. And I would say to myself, oh, I'm too old for this. I'm too old to be here with these people. And they probably look at me funny, like I'm an old man. And what a stupid thing, because I ended up dropping out for 10 years. I didn't go back till I was 32, maybe even 34, when I finally went back to college, and I didn't give a shit by that time how old I was. I was going to get through it. But, I look at a 22-year-old now. I mean, that kid's still wet behind the ears. The guy can barely learn how to walk. A matter of fact, the psychologists and everybody of the modern medicine or whatever, modern psychology will say that a man's brain isn't even developed until he's 25. So that just goes to show where my thinking was, that I thought I was too old at 22 years old. You're just a kid, And so that is one of those lies that we tell ourselves. And I'm living proof of that it's a lie. You can go back to school, or you can start a new career. You could start a family. There's a lot of boneheads out there on the internet talking about, maybe a woman's too old at 35 to have a family. I know plenty of women who started families after 35 years old. So don't believe the lie. There's so many things that we can do that that this voice in our mind keeps telling us, that we can't do it. So it's a bunch of BS. Don't worry, guys, 10 more minutes and you're going to have to listen to me, but then we're going to open up the phone lines. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to somebody calling into the show and, making a comment or asking a question. Maybe you're having trouble in your marriage. Guess what? I'm an expert in that. You could totally ask me, and I got a great answer for you. That was a total lie. I am not an expert in marriage, but if you ask me a question about marriage, I will give you my honest answer. Or maybe you have a question about jujitsu or fighting or something like that. Maybe you want to know something about my past. Maybe you want to tell me something about your past. Maybe you got a confession. Go ahead and tell me. Jump on the Dre Bee Rambo phone number and just call in. We'll see what happens. So anyway, that being said, so who else have I had on here? Oh, I've had so many people on here. We have Gino Ramos, world champion Gino Ramos, coming on the show on Wednesday. He will be on the show Wednesday. We had a really interesting interview. We talked a lot of crap because, he's my buddy. We've been buddies for a long time. Gino, he's a black belt, if you didn't know. Me and him we came up together, and he's such a great guy. He's an amazing dude. He was one of my first friends that I made in jiu-jitsu. I made a lot of friends over the years in jiu-jitsu, but Gino was one of the first, if not the first. And you know how he did that? He just reached out to me. Somehow he got my phone number, and he just called me and said, "Hey, man, want to run?" And I was like, "Who's this guy hitting me up to go on a run?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." A lot of times we miss out on opportunities because we're afraid, or we're not willing to just take a chance. I took a chance on the dude, and he's been one of my best buds for about 5 years now. He's such a great dude, and we go running. I like to think that someone's my friend, like a real friend, like a close friend, when you guys you do shit together. Maybe you take your families out and you have dinner, or you go to each other's kids' birthday parties, you go on vacations together, you have dinners together with your wives. Those are my close circle of dudes, I have about 5 or 6 families like that, that me and my wife will hang out with. We'll go to concerts, or, shout out to my boy Tommy. We talked today. He's one of those guys who we've hung out and gone to dinner and concerts together with me, my wife, his wife. And Gino's certainly one of those dudes. So we got Gino coming on Monday. I'm looking forward to that. I hope you guys will tune in on that. It's 5 o'clock on the Dre Bee Rambo Show on YouTube. On Monday, I have the California Sober Podcast hosts, Trey and Mo. Those guys are coming on the show. They will be airing they'll be coming on Monday. So I hope you guys will check that out. We had interesting conversation, a lot of cussing. So I apologize for that up front. There was a lot of swear words, and so hopefully, I know we're a holy channel here. Jesus Christ is the man, no doubt about it. But there was a lot of cussing and a lot of talking about drugs on that show. So, but I hope you'll still tune in and check it out, because Mo and Trey, they were really cool dudes, and they got amazing stories, and they're doing a lot of cool stuff on their podcast. So I hope you guys will check it out. We got about 5 more minutes before I open up the phone line, so make sure you got your questions ready if you're going to call the show. Wouldn't that be funny if no one called the show? Then I'd be stuck having to talk for another half hour. And you know what, guys? I don't know if I can do it. I really don't know if I can. So make sure you call into the show. I'm going to put up the phone number like this. See that there? That's the phone number. It's going to come on. So I did that really fast. So that way you guys will have it. Okay. So lastly thing I want to talk about is the plans for this show. So I had said it before, every Friday night at 5 p.m., I'm going to go live. So that means no matter what, rain or shine, I'm going to be right here in this seat. That's my commitment to you. I will be right here from 5 to 6 p.m. doing a live show. God willing, it won't go over. but God willing, it'll go good. Okay, because I really want to be engaged with you guys, the viewers, and then on Mondays and Wednesdays we will continue having our regular interviews with interesting people. I am in the works of getting as the most interesting people I could find, because there's a lot of good stories out there, you guys. And I'm talking about regular folk, regular people. There's people out there who got good stories. I had this one guy. I don't know if anybody knows him, but he's he's this guy right here, Alexander Santa, the artist of defense. I keep getting that wrong. It's artists of defense. He was one of my highest viewing episodes up until recently. But he was a super interesting guy. He started a karate school at a park. So when I saw him on Insta, I was like, dude, this dude straight up doing a kids class. He had like 20 kids or something, or 10, maybe 10 kids at the park. And the reason why I found that so fascinating was because he didn't let the fact that there was no brick and mortar stop him from doing what he set out to do. Like, you got to respect something like that. Because I know that I've been wanting my own jiu-jitsu school. I got mats. I got everything I need for a jiu-jitsu school except walls. And that's the one thing that has stopped me from doing a full-blown jiu-jitsu school. Just because I don't have walls. But this guy didn't let that stop him. Like, how could you not respect something like that? I found it fascinating. Shout out to my boy Alexander Santa, man. That was a really cool episode. So if you guys have a chance, go and check that out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines now. I'm going to go and on my different little things here and just pop that open. You could literally call and, hopefully the thing works. I've never used it before, so, it is what it is. And we'll put that up there. Get that going. Okay, so part of this show and what we do here is what we do, and I'm going to go ahead and turn, I don't know if it'll work. I hope it works. I turned off my, hopefully it works. I got the Instagram on, so hopefully it'll work. So you can go ahead and call into the show. Okay, so the whole purpose of the Dre Bee Rambo show, let me get rid of that there. Sorry, guys, I'm a one-man show. All right, so the whole point of the Dre Bee Rambo show is to get people past the lie. I was one of those guys who didn't think that anything was possible. I didn't think that I had what it took to go to school, to get off drugs, to do jiu-jitsu. I started jiu-jitsu back in the day. Most people probably don't know this, but I actually started doing jiu-jitsu at Gracie Baja. I went to Gracie Baja, and after a month, I just kind of gave it up. I gave it up because I wasn't willing to give up the cigarettes. I wasn't willing to give up the alcohol or the drugs, the pot. I wasn't doing anything too hardcore, but I just wasn't willing to do it. And so a whole year went by, and I went back to Gracie Baja. Another month later, after a year, I went back, and I did Gracie Baja again. I did a month under Pedro Rodriguez, a guy from Portugal. And then he takes off. And so I got left hanging. I went like another year without doing jiu-jitsu. And I just didn't think I was going to be able to do it. I just never thought I was going to be able to get off the cigarettes, especially. Those ones really had a hold on me. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm going to try it out again. I went to where I go now, which is Noah Tillis MMA. These guys right here. There's Tillis MMA right there in Whittier, California. If you haven't seen it, go check him out. He's got a great school, great guy, great group of people over there. Shout out to all my people over at the Tillis MMA. What a great group of people. So I went over there, and Noah was like, I don't want to throw it out there, but it was cheap. I'm not going to throw a price out there because, I don't want to get myself into trouble. But it was cheap for me, solo. And, my daughter was probably like, I don't know, 1 at the time. And I went in there, and it was just a bunch of great people. But I didn't really talk to anybody because I was always stoned out of my mind. I was always smoking pot. And so I would go into the classes though, and I'd be high out of my mind, but I would just, be in the corner, just mind my own business. I wanted to really talk to anybody much. And, I would just, drill. Basically, all I did was drill. And I would try to talk to people, but when you're high all the time, people are talking to you, but then you're just kind of like, you're like a deer in headlights. You're there and you're hearing the words, but they're just going in one ear out the other. So the whole time I never really made meaningful friendships there. I mean, they were my friends. I still got friends from there from the same time period, but I wasn't a good friend because I was just always high. And so, but eventually I stopped smoking. It took a long time. It was my wife who actually nagged the shit out of me until I just stopped smoking. And it was the best thing ever because she was right. She would always tell me, you're not present, you're not here. And for the longest time, I joke about this a lot, but, I was literally like tripping out on what that meant. Like, what do you mean I'm not here? Like, I'm here every day. I'm talking to you, girl. Like, I'm here. But she was like, no, you're not. You're in the clouds. And she was right because I thought I was an introvert. I thought I didn't like talking to people. I thought that I was more of a kind of guy who just want to keep to myself. But the moment I stopped drinking alcohol and the moment I stopped smoking pot, and, I was vaping for a while too, guys. I'm not proud of that, but I was. And as soon as I stopped vaping, all of a sudden I'm chatting up everybody. I realized I like people. Like, who would have thought that I liked people? I thought I was an introvert, but I wasn't. I was just always high. And so now I can't go anywhere without chatting somebody up. I meet new people every single day. Met a bunch of cool people over at the UFC in Brea. Some guy named Liam and this other guy, Robert, the black belt coach over there. And then his name was Robert. Yeah. And then I met this other guy named Robert over there too. But anyway, point is that I love talking to people. It's very comforting. It's healthy. If you're somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of people in your life, or maybe you're just sad or depressed, something, people feel depressed. I used to get depressed all the time, man, especially during the pandemic. Oh my gosh, like before I started doing jiu-jitsu, my daughter was probably like almost 1, and I was about 250 pounds. 250 pounds. And not of pure rock hard muscle like you see before you right now. But I mean, like, I was 250 pounds. I was a fat piece of shit. And super depressed, super unhealthy. I would lay on my bed sometimes like a beached whale after just having a big old meal. And because, when you're depressed or you're sad or whatever, you tend to eat because you're looking for comfort. That's why they call it comfort food. And I just super, super sad. But the worst part is that I had no one to talk to. There was no one that I could reach out and dial a number and say, hey, bro, I'm just not right now, bro. You got a few minutes to talk to me and, let's fellowship. I had none of that. But you know what? It's not healthy to be alone at all. You don't have friends in your life, buddies. If you're a woman and you don't have girls that you can call, or if you're a guy, you don't have your boys, you got to go out and get some, because that's going to keep you sane. You need people in your life. I got one friend, Justin Leivas, my boy. He's a brown belt over at Tillis MMA where I train. He's a real good dude. He's one of my church buddies, even though we don't go to the same church, but we're both down with Jesus. And he's a real friend. He will call me to check up on me. I never had that in my life. I never had people checking up on me ever. I'm 45 years old. I'm gonna be 46, and for the first time in my life, we've been good friends for a couple of years now. We've known each other for about six or 7 years, but we've been really close over the last 2-3 years. And I got somebody in my life that I can call and be like, hey, man, I'm not feeling too good. I'm not doing too well. You got time to talk? And man, me and this guy, we talk about everything. We talk about, there's not too much that he and I have not spoken about. And he's a real good friend. Like when I cuss and stuff, like if I say a bad word, he'll stop our conversation just to lecture me about cussing. And I love that. That's my boy, because he cares about me. He cares about my soul. He cares about me as a human being, wants me to be the best person I can be. Like, what a true blessing that I have a friend like that, that'll stop our conversation to tell me, hey, you're better than that. You shouldn't be cussing. I love that guy. I love you, Justin. He's a real good dude. But that's what we need. Men and women out there, we need people who are going to tell it to us straight, who are going to, aside from telling us straight or giving us good advice or things like that, but to give us a hug and tell us that they love us. Because I don't know about you guys, but, you know, I didn't get a lot of that. I got a lot of that from my mom growing up. But, you know, as an adult, you don't really get that a whole lot. And listen, I have a little bit of that now because I got a wife. And I mean, no, I'm just kidding. My wife loves me a lot. She takes really good care of me. I have an amazing wife, so I just want to put that out there. She's amazing. But there's been times before I was married where I was just a miserable, sad dude. And now that I have, first of all, there's been a lot of personal growth, a lot of personal changes that have gone on in my life that got me to a certain point where I was willing to put myself out there to hit up dudes and, you know, offer my friendship. And that's how you get friends. That is exactly how I did it. Like, and I mean meaningful friends. I mean, I used to have friends before, but they only wanted to hang out if we were all going to get high and drunk together, right? That's basically what it was. Guys you meet at, guys that you'll see at the bar because they're bar guys, right? But what I did was I put myself out there. I said, you know what? I want to make sure that I let this person know that I'm offering you my friendship. Because my friendships, you know, if I'm offering you my friendship, I'm pretty good at being a friend, I think. You know, I'm there for my friends. If you need if you need a guy to move a couch and you call me to move a couch, I'm going to help you move the couch. You know, and that's key. You offer your friendship, but you have to offer a genuine friendship. And building those people, building that network of dudes or women, right? A guy got to be the whole, you know, go back and forth. If I say dudes, I mean women too, okay? So you got to build that network. You build that network because it's going to keep you healthy. You know, I was talking to a friend today. I'm not going to put him out there, what his name is, but, you know, he's going through some stuff. And he made the comment about, you know, I just don't feel like I have, you know, anything to offer somebody. Like I can help them because I need to help myself right now. And, you know, I'm going through some stuff and I just don't feel like basically I'm withdrawing myself from my group, my tribe, my crew. I'm withdrawing because I just don't feel like I have anything to offer or anything of value to give to the group. And that is another lie. That is a lie because that's basically you're not trusting in your boys, you know, to get you through whatever it is you're going through. That's what we're here for. And so don't believe the lie when you feel like you got nothing to offer or you feel like, you know, you want to withdraw. That's the worst thing you can do. You got to stay. You got to get in there with your buddies. You got to engage. You got to say, hey, I need help. Hey, I need a friend. And if that friend doesn't listen to you, you know, if you're telling them, hey, man, I just, you know, I'm having trouble, you know, maybe you lost a friend or something and you're just like feeling low. And then you tell your friend, hey, man, I'm just feeling low. I lost my friend. And then they want to tell you for the next hour and a half about their friend they lost. Then maybe they're not the right guy, right? I'm not saying kick that friend to the curb, but maybe they're just not the right guy who knows how to deal with your situation. But if you go out there and you offer your friendship over time, you won't regret it. And there's a lot of good dudes out there. I don't care what they say about people in California. There's a lot of good people here who are good, who can be a good friend and be that support system that you need. All right, guys. So if you guys have not seen the number, it's right there. I don't know if people are just shy or maybe there's no one watching. But I was really hoping to get a phone call today. wifey call. Just to see if the damn thing works. I don't even know if it's working. But anyway, I hope that somebody will call so I could solve somebody's problem. Maybe you got some financial problems that you need Dre Bee Rambo to deal with. Actually, that'd be your biggest mistake because I am horrible with money. I don't know anything about money. A matter of fact, I'm the brokest dude out there. You know, I I like those shows where the guys are talking about you got to get your money right and you got to get this and that. And I was like, you know what? I should do that. Only problem is I don't know anything about money. And then I thought maybe I would fake it, but I know my wife. My wife would call the show and say, "You lying motherfucker! You don't know shit. Get a job. You know you don't know shit about money." So I didn't. So I decided just to keep it 100. You know what I mean? So I don't know anything about money. So don't call asking me about your money problems. But I do know a lot about other stuff. There's a lot of stuff I know about. You guys should call up. So I'm gonna put that number on the phone. There it is, phone number. Hopefully that's the right number. I made this Google number, so it's not like my real number. So you can't like call and harass me in the middle of the night. It's only gonna work between 5 and 6 on Friday nights where we do this show live. Also, if you haven't left a comment, make sure you leave a comment. And make sure that you let me know you're watching. Let's see here. Let's see if we have any questions from the questions. Hey, what's up? All right, we got some. I got a few messages here. Actually, I just got like 1 or 2 messages here from Element Nitrogen. What's up, bro? My day's good, man. I'm doing great. And thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So shout out to Element Nitrogen. I wish I knew what that was. I'm not sure if that's like a Element Nitrogen. That sounds like a really cool name, man. I wish I knew what that was. Maybe you drop here, I'm going to drop a little heart for you. Bam. Okay. So going back to off that and just right back here. Okay. So also, if you're interested in being on the show, because if you got something you want to talk about, DM me, let me know. And we'll make it happen. Put you on the schedule. We'll make it happen. All right. We got our first caller. Let's see if we can make it work. You are on the Dre Bee Rambo show. State your name and where you're calling from. Uh-oh. What is that? Let's see here. I'm a bonehead, guys. Oh, they hung up. Let's see. Let me make sure I have the Bluetooth on right. Oh, no wonder it wasn't connected to my Rodecaster. So what you see right here is called a Rodecaster. This is a Rodecaster Pro. And I'm going to pair it. I think it's there. Hang in there with me, guys. We're going to make it happen. We're going to figure this thing out. Rodecaster Pro. Bluetooth. Let's see if it'll connect. I did this the other day with my wife, so it should work. See, this is part of the many problems that you have when you're on your own man's show, so it didn't pair. So let's see. Would you like to unpair? Yeah, I guess so. Okay, done. Let's pair. Rodecaster Pro. Let's see if we can get it going. If you were on Instagram, you're probably no longer on the show. And that's okay. You were supposed to be on YouTube. So, let's see if this thing works here. You know what's funny? This thing worked all week. All week long, my phone was working and paired to the Rodecaster. And all of a sudden, it doesn't want to work no more. Let's see what happens here. Oh, maybe it's that. I think I got it now. Come on, baby. Oh, boy. The heck? Well, I don't know how that's going to work out. It's not working. It is what it is. Maybe I need that. Nope, that's not it. Well, it's an unfortunate incident here. So that's not working. So anyway, next week I'll figure it out. If I don't figure it out right now. Because Bluetooth, let me see. No, it's not working at all now. Okay. What am I doing wrong here? And we were having such a good show too. Can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you? You're on the Dre Bee Rambo show. Only problem is we don't have the Bluetooth on.
From Santa Fe Springs.
All right. Tell me your question, bud.
From New Breed.
Oh, you're from New Breed. Nice to see you. What's your name, bud?
My Frank.
Frank?
Frankie.
All right. Frankie.
I'm a fan of your show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're a fan of the show, Frankie. I really appreciate that.
You ever come to a New Breed open mat?
I've been there before quite a few times.
Oh, come on by.
I would love to do that.
Get some good rolls in.
Where you guys still have it on Saturdays, right?
Yes, sir.
But you know what I love about New Breed
What's that?
is they have them pretty late in the afternoon. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty late. We go pretty late.
It's about, I think it's starts at, 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock.
About 12.
12 o'clock. See, I used to like that back in the day for those for the late riser.
Oh yeah.
And your head coach over there is it Johnny?
Johnny Ramirez.
Johnny Ramirez, that's right. How long have you been training, Frankie?
About 7.5 years.
All right, so you're probably brown or black by now?
I'm a perp.
You're a purple. All right, so you're an expert. So tell me, Frankie, when's the last time you had a tournament?
I did the last one.
Over at the Hope University?
Hope University.
All right, how'd you do?
It was Orange County.
Orange County, that's absolutely right. How'd you do?
Up to gold.
Hey, my man, good job. I love it. I love it. And are you married? What's going on with you, Frankie?
No, I don't believe in marriage.
You don't believe in marriage? Why is that?
It's just it doesn't seem to be working out today for anybody, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a real shame. Marriage is not easy. It's one of those things where a lot can go wrong. And you know, I'm married myself, and I'll tell you, it's one of the biggest challenges that I've ever had in my life. It's one of the most rewarding things it can be, but it is very tough. I will admit that, Frankie. Were you ever married?
I was.
You were.
I was divorced twice.
So you gave it a couple of tries. You gave it the old try, I see. Any kids out of there?
No, 2 strikes. I got 1 more, I think.
Yeah. You have any kids from those marriages?
I do. I have 4 kids.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And are they doing...
2 and 2 from each wife.
Oh, okay. And are they also doing some jiu-jitsu? You got them in the jiu-jitsu?
I'm a little too small for that, but yeah, when they're older, I'll get them in.
Oh, so they're youngsters. Okay.
Yeah, I got a 1 2-year-old and then a 4 and a 5-year-old.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And what are your plans for your future? Like, do you plan on doing some more tournaments?
I do. I'm actually thinking about switching gyms. That's why I kind of called. I know from watching a few of your videos where you train at Tillis BJJ, right?
That's right. Noah Tillis out in Whittier, California.
And can you give me some insight on the gym and maybe I could go try out a class or something.
Absolutely. So what I can tell you about Noah's gym is it has an amazing culture there. It's a very laid back culture. I've been to many different types of jiu-jitsu locations, and then there's a lot of great schools out there. So I'm not knocking anybody else's school, but at Noah Tillis, it has this laid back culture. It's very laid back. There's not a lot of formality there. Just make sure you take a shower, scrub your ass before you go. Everybody's real chill and funny. It's a very friendly environment. We have open mats there on Friday night at 6 p.m. And then they have one tonight. So you can literally hop on out there tonight. It's on the corner of Mulberry and Mills in Whittier, California. And that will run until I believe 7:30. Or there's the morning at 11 a.m. tomorrow on Saturdays. You can check it out then. The pricing is reasonable. The gym is huge. We used to have a gym down the street from our current location that was maybe, I don't know. I'm not real good with square footage. So maybe it was like 2,000 square feet. It wasn't very big. But now it's about 4 to 6 times bigger. It's just a huge gym, and it's just great, man. You'll love it. And when your kids are old enough, you'll be able to take them down there. They got kids classes. We got hundreds of kids down there. I mean, it's amazing. Amazing culture. A lot of nice people, man. You're going to love it.
Sounds good. That's funny that you say that about scrubbing your ass before you roll, because a lot of the guys at New Breed don't seem to do that.
Oh, is that right? Well, man, it's all about culture, bud. And believe me, I've had a few. I've ran into a few stinkers myself. There's nothing worse than being in someone's triangle and they haven't scrubbed their ass, man. I mean, that's real tough.
Yeah, we got a lot of farters at our gym over here.
Right. So what if you want to talk about it? What's the beef over there? Why are you thinking about switching gyms?
It seems to be more about money these days over here. It's not like the old gym. Before we moved into the big spot, I don't know if you're aware of.
Yeah, it was right.
It was a similar situation as your gym. We came from a smaller gym.
It was right next door, right?
Yes, and then we moved into a big location, and it just seems to be more about the money. But I mean, I don't want to say too much because I still, attend that.
You still go there. Well, it's a big gym, and it's a nice looking gym. And I know that they did some work on the restrooms and stuff like that. Believe it or not, I actually checked out New Breed before I went to Noah Tillis School. I went in there, and because I knew a guy who trained there. Wasn't like a close friend of mine or anything, but I knew of the school because of this guy. He's probably a black belt by now. I'm not gonna put his name out there, but I went there, and the guy who met with me, I mean, I just kind of walked in to inquire about the school, and the guy showed me around, friendly enough. Had a little bit of that machismo thing going on, but, friendly enough. And then he told me, and I had already trained a couple of months at Gracie Baja, like I was saying earlier. And he told me, you have to do the boxing classes for a month before you can get on the mat and do some jiu-jitsu.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if they still have that policy down there, but I thought to myself, well, I'm just here to do jiu-jitsu. I'm not really interested in the boxing, and certainly don't want to wait a whole month just to get on the mats because I've already got some training,
Exactly, and that's the point I was trying to make. See, they wanted you to sign up for boxing also, which is actually a higher package, so it comes back to the money.
Yeah, and it was very expensive.
When you wanted to do jiu-jitsu, they wanted you to do the boxing and jiu-jitsu and whatever else they got going on here, so
right.
That's what I'm looking at. I myself only want to train jiu-jitsu. And they also tried the similar thing on me, trying to make me do all the classes. I wasn't interested in boxing or kickboxing or judo, I just wanted to train jiu-jitsu, and it was kind of why don't you want to train this? Why don't you want to train that? So, yeah, that's what. Yeah,
that was a tough sell for me because, the last thing I want to do is go in there and be told I can't do the very thing I went in there for. And, I mean, if you don't want to do boxing, then why are you going to make people do boxing, especially for a whole month?
Exactly.
And especially when you got a big place like that and you got some bills to pay,
right.
Maybe I don't see the point in being so strict on that. But I have been there for some open mats, and they've always been very friendly guys, and it's a good crew. We get a lot of guys from there actually who jump ship and come over to our
Yeah,
gym.
we have a lot of. Yeah, I noticed that. So I might be one myself.
Yeah, yeah. At some point or another, they come over, and that's a very interesting thing. You know, I mean, I'm going to tread lightly here, but I'm going to say that if people are jumping ship from your school and going elsewhere, that might be an indication of a problem. And when you have such a big place like that, you got to keep the lights on. You got to keep people there. Maybe it's not worth being so strict on certain things.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
but brother, I want to tell you, I don't know you, but I kind of just ran into your podcast, and it seems to be working out pretty good for you so far. I mean, you're putting out a lot of content. It seems to be good with YouTubers. Really find success and is when they're consistent and put out that content. And I think you got a bright future, brother.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much.
Get to roll with you one day.
Oh, you will. You can roll with me later tonight. I might be going down there. Actually, I had a guest on the show, Robert Cortez, who invited me down to his open mat for tomorrow, and I think I'm going to check that out. That's over at Dream Art Jiu-Jitsu, over in Orange, I believe it is, or Santa Ana, maybe, I forget. Fullerton. It's in Fullerton. So you probably won't see me there tomorrow, but I hope that you go down and check it out because it's a great school, great people. You're going to love it. Noah's a great guy. And if you also get to say that you're trained by Noah Tillis, because Noah Tillis, it doesn't matter where I go. I've gone to Vegas and gone to Syndicate out in Vegas with the Shapiro brothers. I've gone to Big Bear. I've gone all kinds of places, and they've all heard of Noah Tillis and has a great reputation wherever I go. So I'm always treated with a lot of respect. And so that I can say, which is why I would never go anywhere else to get my black belt from somewhere, because I'm a 2-stripe brown. I'm almost there, buddy. And it'd be great to be able to say you're a black belt from Noah Tillis. So I could tell you that. So I really appreciate the phone call. I hope that you'll call again in the future, and God bless you on your journey and on your road to brown and black. And I hope to see you on the mat someday over at Noah's.
I will be giving him a call pretty soon. Thank you for all your insight. I really appreciate you, and keep doing your thing on YouTube, man. You're going to be big.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Dre Bee out.
God bless. Have a good one, brother.
You too, brother. Guys, I want to thank you for listening and watching the show. I want to thank, I'm so bad with names. I think his name was Frankie, for calling into the show. I'm not sorry, but I apologize that my mixer here, my Bluetooth wasn't connected. That should have been coming directly from the mixer, but instead it was coming from my phone, so I had to go like this. So I apologize for that, guys. And if you were on Instagram and you got cut off, I apologize for that too. But you should be watching on YouTube. That's the whole point. Also, if you have not subscribed, please do so. It keeps the channel going. It keeps it building. It helps me to reach more people, to get the show out there. I would not have reached Frankie. Man, brother, I hope I got your name right, man, because I'm so bad with names. If I didn't, call back in next time and make sure I never forget it again. But it helps me reach people who don't know about the show and our message for the Dre Bee Rambo show, because we have an important message. Don't believe the lie. It's all about the big guy in the sky. All right? So don't forget, subscribe on YouTube. And 2, make sure that you follow us on Instagram. 3, I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you tell your friends about it wherever you go. I'm thinking about getting some T-shirts going where we will be able to market the Dre Bee Rambo show, put cool little sayings on it. You know, I got all kinds of great ideas. If you're interested in that, drop a message, DM me and say, hey, man, when you put out your shirts, make sure you put one aside for me, and I'll be happy to do that. Put your shirt size. If you are interested in marketing your product or service, you can call or DM me on Instagram, and we can work something out for you. I have a couple of sponsors with coffee. We got the coffee, guys. I don't have the bag here with me, so I can't really do anything with that because they haven't paid me anyway. So, but I am more than happy to listen to anybody who wants to market their products or services. Be happy to do that. I am in the works of trying to get some more guests on the show. I've reached out to a couple of sports medicine people. You know, if you have any suggestions for the show or anything that you'd like to add, please DM me or message in the comment section. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching the Dre Bee Rambo show. I'm about to call it a night. It's Friday night. Make sure if you're out there drinking and you're partying, to Uber or Lyft. Do not be out there drinking and driving. Don't be an idiot. All right? There's people's lives at stake. So don't do it. Make sure you enjoy your weekend. Kiss your wives and your kids good night. Make sure you don't fight because it's the weekend. Save that shit for the weekdays. All right, guys. God bless you all. Praise Jesus. I love you. Dre Bee Rambo's out.